So on my last top 10 remakes ranking, one remake that I did not include was The Hills Have Eyes, one that you guys, a lot of you guys mentioned in the comments. And the reason being is because I just didn't remember the movie at all. It's been years and years and years since I've seen it. So I finally watched it. I promised you guys a review. Here's your review for The Hills Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes stars Ted Levine, Kathleen Quinlan, and is directed by Alexandre Asya. What's up, guys? It's time to review a classic remake. I guess you could, does that make sense? A classic remake? This one came out in 2006, and I consider it a classic because I think it's considered one of the better remakes out there. And after finally rewatching it again, I completely agree. This movie is actually fantastic. First off, a quick shout out to John Mcglone. He sent me a Facebook DM today asking me when this review is going to be out. I said I'm recording it tonight. And I figured I'd give him a nice little shout out. So thanks, John. I appreciate you and anybody that likes to watch my videos. I'm still amazed that I'm doing this. So anyway, we're going to talk about The Hills Have Eyes. And really just, you know what, in remakes in general, the big debate with remakes is, are they necessary? No, they're not necessary, but the original is always there. And it's always nice to see an updated interpretation of a classic, I guess. As long as it's handled with care, I guess. A well-directed film is a well-directed film, I say. But I never saw the original The Hills Have Eyes by Wes Craven. I don't know why. It's one of those that I just never got around to. One day I'll probably watch it. It is considered a classic, but a lot of people tell me that this one's actually better than the original. That's the first thing you can do is let me know in the comments if you think the original is better than this one. But I'm kind of glad I hadn't seen the original first because this one was just fresh to me. And I love the premise of this. And there are a few movies that do have this type of premise where you're just out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, hell, Texas Chainsaw Massacre really is this premise. You're out in the middle of nowhere on a road trip with some friends or family, and you get lost, mixed up with the wrong type of people. And this does happen, actually, a lot. Out in those little boondock towns or just towns out in the middle of nowhere, middle America, where there's like a gas station every, 50 miles. There are some strange folk that live in there. If I could share a quick little story, when I was very young, I first came in the military, and I was up in the mountains with a female friend on a date. And my car slid into this ditch in the snow, and I couldn't get it out. And this was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And this car rolls up with this very strange couple, kind of like The Hills Have Eyes. They weren't that strange, but yeah, they pulled up and they offered to help us, and we both jumped in their car. And as we're driving, the guy who was married to the woman was staring at my date in a very uncomfortable way and wouldn't take his eyes off of her, and it was just very strange. And so I caught like this park ranger, and I grabbed the park ranger and I was like, hey, could we get a ride? And luckily that guy came along, because I might not even be here if that guy didn't come along, because who knows what this guy was going to do. It was just a creepy situation. I'll never forget it. It was really scary. But this takes advantage of that premise perfectly because it has the perfect director, I think, in Alexandre Asya. I loved what he did with High Tension. That is one of my favorite movies to come along in like the last, is that like maybe 15 years ago now, I think? But High Tension, it was very effective little French film. One that I never got around to reviewing, but I love it. And I love that twist, which I won't spoil here. But I just love the way he handles violence. That's what I'm getting at. Because you can handle violence in a few different ways, and I think if you go too far with it, then it kind of takes away the authenticity of it. And if you can pull back too much, and then that can kind of have the same effect. It's just not as profound. But Alexandre Asya does it in such a realistic way, and that's the way the violence is handled in this movie. So at the beginning, you have this family. They're on this road trip, and they stop at this gas station. Why in the hell do these families do this anyway? Why put yourself in so much danger? But I guess because we never think that this type of situation can happen to us. But they end up going to this gas station with this strange gas attendant. And right at the beginning, we see this like civilization. They're kind of like mutants. They look like mutants. But basically, back in the 40s and 50s, when they were doing all these experiments with nuclear weapons, these were families that were affected by the fallout. And so A lot of deformities happened mentally and physically. And so you're left with this civilization of people that aren't right in the head at all and damn right dangerous. And the gas station attendant, he's kind of in cahoots with these guys. I guess they keep his business going and he keeps sending them bodies. But you know, I think this movie has a nice pace to it too, because for like the first half of it, you're getting to know this family. But you always feel uneasy too, because you know that these people are watching them. So it's kind of interesting when you're getting to know this family, but you're also feeling scared for them. And I think that works perfectly. And then the middle of the movie, I think when it goes full tilt, to be attacked in the middle of the night when you're asleep is a really scary thing. Because the father's not there. The father, played by the great Ted Levine, he's gone to try to get gas for the vehicle. And while he's gone, this family from the hills, they end up coming to the RV where this young family is. And I'll never forget that one scene where this girl, she's asleep and you see the hand just reach over to her. And then all of a sudden, that's when it just kicks in. And the music kicks in. And it's just such a well-directed scene. And this isn't one of those horror movies that scares you for the sake of being scared without actually doing anything. No. These freaking creatures are disgusting looking, and they actually like rape the younger daughter. And then they kill the older daughter and the mother. Like right off the bat, you got 2 deaths. You know, you got a good like 5-minute segment of the movie where it's just complete mass chaos in that attack scene. And from that moment on, this movie never really lets up. And you get some really nice character beats in this thing too, because like, how do people react after their loved ones die and they're stuck out in the middle of nowhere? So you got the scene where like the younger brother, he's got to like put his dead mother in the car. And so you have these scenes of emotions where the brother and the sister, they're having to deal with this. The sister who just got raped. And they're still in danger because like the mutant family, they're still out there and they don't know when they're going to be attacked again. During all this chaos, the baby is actually stolen. And so the dad, Doug, he has to go searching for the baby. One of my favorite scenes in the movie too, besides that middle scene, is when Doug is, he's on his hunt for the baby and he ends up in one of the houses. And you kind of get to see this housing community that's pretty much desolate. And all you have is like these, mutant creatures living there. And the creature that he sees in this house, just sitting in this chair, and his head is like, it's just a really creepy looking dude. And another thing I like about these types of movies is even if you get out of this dangerous situation, it's still not really a happy ending. At the end of this movie, you do have Doug and the 2 kids that survived the thing, but something is definitely taken away from them. They are completely screwed up in the head after going through what they went through. And I think that's just a testament of Alexandre Aja's direction in this movie, because you feel so much for this family as they're in this just completely chaotic situation. So in the end, I'm so glad that I finally gave this movie another try. I'm so glad that you guys kept pushing me to give this another chance. And this movie was fantastic, actually. I would easily put it, if I had to give it a place in that last ranking, it's definitely in the top 5 remakes. So I'm going to give this movie a Trapper on an Island, actually. Didn't expect that at all. I figured it was going to be at least like a high HUMDRUM or purchase worthy, but no. This is like the perfect remake. And I'd be shocked if the original is better than this one, but stranger things have happened. So what are your thoughts on The Hills Have Eyes? And should I even bother with The Hills Have Eyes Part 2? Because I have not seen that one. Let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.